I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
The downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing. And they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? I mean, what is the next 5 years of, well, in terms of trying, I mean,
I think I know why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds stepped out for the first time since all the drama to the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary. At the end of the day, this is all for PR.
Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
You got a few of them.
Come on, it was a joke.
You know, a mother, and she has 3 kids, and she's done a lot of wonderful things too. You know, you can overcome that, and I came from a place where I wasn't privileged or.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out, and I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
Okay.
Is Ryan Reynolds
mean? Like he's Canadian.
Look, you punch a couple hundred orphans and suddenly you're mean. This is what I don't understand.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have always been seen as Hollywood's ultimate power couple, but what if that's just smoke and mirrors? I'm absolutely shocked by what I've discovered. Lately, some celebrities have been spilling the tea, and let me tell you, it's scalding hot. It's definitely not painting the best picture of them. From shady deals to behind-the-scenes drama, more and more receipts are coming out, and people are starting to question if these two have been playing the long game to protect their image. I mean, can you believe it? The golden couple of Hollywood might not be so golden after all. So what exactly is going on, and why are celebrities speaking up now? Well, I've got the full lowdown for you, and trust me, you're going to be gasping. But of course, before we go any further, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Now, let's get going.
And it was a little awkward.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Are you guys, but you guys are like, both of you have this attitude about you that
in real life it's the other way around, and I constantly have to call Blake and be like, it's okay, you're good at giving interviews.
It's the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared, and I looked at this person and I said, you can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again. And then I remember the producers came up and said, you can't do this to number 1. We have to let this person be on set.
For me,
Was Joy rude to you, Nicole?
Was so mean to me.
Ryan Reynolds was not great to us.
The cast of Jersey Shore puts Joy Behar and Ryan Reynolds on blast when asked about the alleged rudest celeb encounters they've had since their show debuted in 2009.
I have to be very diplomatic about what I say here. I'd like to be in it. They have called me about being in it. Right now, we have not agreed on terms. And everybody's trying their best and doing their best. But it may or may not work out.
Would I work with him again? No. I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool, and I think it's weird that he hates me.
Do you know he hates
We
you?
had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me.
Lately, the cracks in Ryan and Blake's carefully crafted image are becoming harder to ignore. Some big names in the industry are calling them out, and I'm absolutely floored by what they're saying. They're hinting that their wholesome reputation might be nothing more than a PR stunt. And if what's being said is true, this could turn into a major Hollywood scandal. Can you imagine? It all kicked off when Blake Lively made some serious accusations against her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. She claimed he harassed her on set, which immediately got people talking. But as the drama unfolded, some industry insiders started questioning whether her story was as straightforward as it seemed. I'm getting chills just thinking about the implications. Then things took a wild turn. Justin Baldoni hit back with a massive $400 million lawsuit against both Blake and Ryan. He accused them of defamation, extortion, and even trying to take over the entire movie project. $400 million. Can you believe that? And here's where it gets even messier. Other celebrities have started backing him up, suggesting that Blake and Ryan have a history of manipulating situations to make themselves look good. For years, they've been Hollywood's golden couple, but now people are starting to wonder if there's a darker side to their success. Have they been playing the long con all along? Could this be the beginning of the end of their spotless reputation? One thing's for sure, the cracks are showing, and this story is far from over. I'm absolutely living for this drama.
The downfall of Blake is super important because it represents our collective awakening, specifically to celebrities that we should not be idolizing. And they hate that.
So do you feel free now to try everything? I mean, what is the next 5 years of... Well, in terms of trying, I mean, do you
see the movie?
I did see the movie. But I mean...
We're going to give you a pop quiz.
There's going to be a pop quiz every minute of it.
Yeah.
Congrats on the premiere.
And congrats on being a fat bitch. I've gotta go. Sorry, I was just daydreaming about Deadpool x Wolverine in AMC movie theaters now, doing a collab with Jack in the Box. What were you asking me about? Oh yeah, domestic violence. Director? We didn't have one of those for this movie. No, we didn't have one of those. This movie's so important because I'm in it and I get to wear my clothes and me and I, and when there's me when I.
You look really nice.
You look like a drowned sewer rat. My husband Ryan Reynolds is calling me on my Mint mobile phone. Did I mention my husband is Ryan Reynolds? Sorry, he's calling me on my Mint mobile phone. I just really think there was something so charming about the South in the 1800s. Did I mention myself yet? The jacket's actually bowed. Well, it's my husband's, Ryan Reynolds. He's in Deadpool x Wolverine, out in AMC movie theaters now. Tickets available, and a popcorn bucket. On those florals, wash your hair with Blake Brown hair care products, and come out and see the rom-com of the summer. Gotta go.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
Ryan Reynolds' not so nice side. The drama unfolds. All right, let's talk about Ryan Reynolds. He's always had this reputation as the funny, charming guy everyone loves, but not everyone's convinced that's the real him. His true colors might have slipped through when he crossed paths with Jersey Shore stars Sammy Giancola and Dina Cortese. And let's just say the vibes were off. I can't even deal with how shocking this is.
Was Joy rude to you, Nicole?
Was so mean to me.
Ryan Reynolds was not great to us.
The cast of Jersey Shore puts Joy Behar and Ryan Reynolds on blast when asked about the alleged rudest celeb encounters they've had since their show debuted in 2009.
So what exactly happened? Well, when the Jersey Shore cast appeared on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, they got asked if they ever met a rude celebrity. Sammy clearly didn't want to stir up drama because, let's be real, calling out A-listers isn't always a great idea. I totally get her hesitation, but before she could dodge the question, Dina went ahead and spilled the tea, saying it was Ryan Reynolds. She did try to soften the blow, adding that he wasn't great to them but that she still loved Ryan and Blake Lively. But let's be honest, if you feel the need to say that, something must have gone down. I'm absolutely gagging at this revelation.
I love Ryan Reynolds still. Like, I truly love Ryan Reynolds still, and I love Blake Lively. So when he didn't want to be by us.
Okay, so they probably shouldn't wait by the duck phone for a call from Joy or Ryan.
Sammy also suggested that maybe Ryan was just having an off day, but the fact that they even brought it up, yeah, it speaks volumes. And they're not the only ones who've been hesitant to call out big names for bad behavior. This tea is piping hot.
I think I know why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds stepped out for the first time since all the drama to the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary. At the end of the day, this is all for PR, to be honest. I think Saturday Night Live knew that people were gonna be talking about them and their event. They've been so controversial. They've been in every headline. Girl, I'm tired of hearing about them. But this also worked in their defense as well, because not only did they show up, Ryan Reynolds actually did a little skit. In the skit, they kind of joked about all the stuff that's going on. At the end of the day, I think they want the public to know that like Hollywood accepts them, you know, and they're at that event with all these celebrities. Just look at this crowd. Like, you see Bad Bunny, like there's so many famous people in this picture. I feel like this is very strategic on their part. And why does she look scared the whole time he's talking? I don't think she knew that this was gonna be going on. I need this case to wrap it up and end, because I'm sick of hearing about it. I truly am. It ends with us.
Even actress Rebecca Ferguson once shared that she had a terrible experience with a co-star. She didn't name names, but she described the person as insecure and angry, constantly lashing out on set. According to her, this co-star was so frustrated with their own performance that they took it out on her, even screaming at her in front of the entire crew. Can you imagine how humiliating that must have been? She recalled how they humiliated her, questioning her acting skills right in front of everyone. It got so bad that she would walk off set in tears, and because this person was the top-billed star, no one stepped in to help. My heart absolutely breaks for her.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
But here's the real plot twist. She eventually stood up for herself and told them to get off her set. Good for her. So could Ryan be one of those celebrities who's totally different behind the scenes? The jury's still out, but more and more stories are making people wonder if his nice guy image is just that. An image. I'm completely shook by these revelations.
I think the thing too about like having, your parents go through all that, they made a lot of sacrifices so that we could be okay and we could be protected from all that. And, I've heard a lot of very crazy stories, and to see somebody who's, a mother and she has 3 kids and she's done a lot of wonderful things too, you can overcome that. And I came from a place where I wasn't privileged or I didn't really have anything handed to me necessarily, so I think, it doesn't matter where you come from. You can achieve anything.
And that's what
Rebecca Ferguson's nightmare co-star. Who could it be? Rebecca Ferguson spilled the tea on a horrible experience she had with a super rude co-star, and trust me, it was bad. She didn't name names, but the way she described it, yeah, it sounds like a total nightmare. According to her, this actor was so insecure about their own performance that they took it out on her, yelling at her in front of the entire crew and even mocking her acting skills. Imagine just trying to do your job and getting screamed at on set. Yikes. It got to the point where Rebecca was breaking down in tears during filming. I can't even begin to imagine how traumatic that was. But here's the thing. She didn't just sit back and take it. She stood her ground, and at one point, she told this person to F off and even said she'd rather act with a tennis ball than deal with them. And get this, she even refused to face them on set, making sure she only acted to the back of their head instead. Now that's a power move. I am living for her courage.
When do you think you've been proudest of using your own voice?
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this?" And I stood there just breaking. This happens. But because this person was number 1 on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. And I looked at this person and I said, "You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again." And then I remember the producers came up and said, "You can't do this to number 1. We have to let this person be on set." And I said, "But the person can turn around and I can act to the back head."
Wow.
And I did. I was so scared. I feel it.
After her story went viral, tons of actors showed support, including Dwayne Johnson, who praised her for standing up for herself. Even some of her past co-stars reached out after hearing what she went through. The solidarity is incredible, but here's the real question. Who was this mystery actor? Well, Rebecca's not spilling, saying it doesn't matter, but she did make one thing very clear. It wasn't Tom Cruise or Hugh Jackman. Now, while people have thrown out a few guesses, some are still convinced it could have been Ryan Reynolds. And let's be real, Rebecca's not the only one who seems to have distanced herself from him. Even Jake Gyllenhaal, who used to be super close with Ryan, has completely cut ties. Whatever happened between them, it must have been serious because Jake's not even acknowledging him anymore. The plot thickens, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. Is Ryan Reynolds...
Mean. Like he's Canadian.
Look, you punch a couple hundred orphans and suddenly you're mean. This is what I don't understand.
So could Ryan be the mystery co-star, or is there someone else in Hollywood with a reputation for being that difficult? Did Ryan Reynolds really freeze out Morena Baccarin? If you thought the drama ended there, think again, because we have to talk about Morena Baccarin, aka Deadpool's original leading lady. Remember how she played such a huge role in the first movie, but by the sequel, she was barely there? Yeah, that wasn't just a creative choice. I'm absolutely stunned by what I've learned.
What's up with Deadpool 3? Fans want to know.
What is up with Deadpool 3? That's a really good question. I have to be very diplomatic about what I say here. I'd like to be in it. They have called me about being in it. Right now, we have not agreed on terms. And everybody's trying their best and doing their best, but it may or may not work out.
But you're an integral part of that.
I'd like to think so. I do think that this movie, I do feel like they're trying to reinvent it a little bit. I think this movie is going to be much more about Wolverine and Deadpool.
Rumors have been swirling that Morena and Ryan had a falling out on set, and after that, she got pushed to the sidelines, both in the movie and in real life. And the proof? When Deadpool and Wolverine started making waves, Morena was noticeably absent from all the promo events. Even at the premiere, while the rest of the cast was mingling, she was off to the side in red carpet photos, alone. Fans couldn't help but notice how awkward it looked, and a lot of people are convinced this was all Ryan's doing. Allegedly, he didn't want her around because of their past issues. Messy, right? I'm completely shocked by this behavior.
Looks like a pattern is emerging as I found this blind item from July of 2024 stating that Ryan Reynolds completely iced out his co-star, Morena Baccarin, I think it is, and she was not included in any of the promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine. And when you think back to it, yeah, she wasn't. And if you look at the red carpet photos, she's pictured all alone by herself, not with any of the other cast. Just like what Blake did to Justin. So I wonder what the disagreement was there. I wonder if she was questioning some of the jokes in the movie. And of course, Ryan's ego couldn't take it. I'm sure there's some ironclad NDA in there and we'll never know what happened. But the promos and the videos don't lie. She wasn't in any of them with the cast. She was all alone by herself. I'm just hoping she wasn't sent to the basement.
So what really went down between them? Some say it had to do with her role in the franchise, while others think she pushed back on jokes Ryan wanted in the movie. Whatever the case, it seems like Ryan wasn't a fan of being challenged, and just like we've seen with other Hollywood power moves, he made sure she was left out. And based on how everyone at the premiere seemed buddy-buddy with Ryan, Morena didn't have much support either. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is giving major It Ends With Us vibes with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The pattern is becoming clearer by the minute, and here's where things get even more interesting. A former co-star who had also worked with Ryan hinted that after Deadpool made him a massive star, he completely changed. According to them, he distanced himself from people and made it clear he wasn't looking back. And when asked if they'd ever work with him again, their answer was a hard no. Ryan Reynolds' list of burned bridges just keeps growing. I can hardly keep up with all this tea. Oh, we're not done yet because it looks like Ryan Reynolds has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and the latest to speak out? None other than Deadpool co-star TJ Miller. TJ, who played Weasel in the franchise, didn't hold back when talking about his experience with Ryan. He made it very clear that he walked away from the films because of Ryan and wouldn't come back for Deadpool 3 even if they doubled his paycheck. That's not just work drama, that's personal. The revelations just keep coming.
Would I work with him again? No. I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool, and I think it's weird that he hates me.
Do you know he hates
We
you?
had a really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me, but to me, as if I'm Weasel.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. You do just enough exposition that is funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
I just kind of listened and thought it was weird, and then I got a station, I walked over, and the whole crew was acting weird. And then I went up to Kate, and I was like, that was weird, right? And she was like, of course it was weird. It was insane. Everybody was like, why is Ryan doing this? And the other weird thing is like, you know, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. His Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. And I'm not sure that he's joking.
According to TJ, working with Ryan was so bad that he never got over it. And for those thinking it might have just been some on-set banter, nope. TJ insists Ryan wasn't joking. He was actually putting him down on purpose and had no remorse about it. What made it even weirder? TJ wasn't even a main character, so he couldn't figure out why Ryan had such an issue with him. But in his opinion, it all came down to Ryan's own insecurities. It wasn't about anything he did. Ryan just wanted to remind everyone who the real star was. I'm absolutely appalled by this behavior. And here's the kicker. TJ wasn't the only one who noticed. He said everyone on set could feel the tension and found it awkward. They were all wondering why Ryan was acting that way. And honestly, it kind of adds up. TJ even pointed out how Ryan's Twitter bio jokes about only showing the parts of himself that were focus tested the best, and he doesn't think it's just a joke. He believes Ryan actually sees himself that way. Ryan Reynolds' insecurities are becoming hard to ignore. This is mind-blowing. Let's be real. People have been calling Ryan Reynolds insecure for a while now, and it's not just co-stars saying it. Even his exes have hinted at the same thing. In fact, his insecurities reportedly left some deep scars on his ex-wife and their breakup. Yeah, it was messy. But before we get into that, let's go back to Deadpool, because TJ Miller wasn't the only one who had issues with Ryan. Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, ended up walking away from the franchise, and why? Because of Ryan. According to Tim, Ryan was so controlling over the project that working with him became impossible. He wanted full creative control over Deadpool, and when Tim pushed back, Ryan made sure he was pushed out. The power plays are just unbelievable. Tim put it bluntly, he didn't mind debating, but if he wasn't allowed to have a say, then there was no point in staying. So with Ryan calling all the shots, Tim decided it was time to go. I'm in complete disbelief, and here's the thing. It's not just directors and co-stars that Ryan has reportedly alienated. Apparently he's had the same pattern in his romantic relationships too. Just look at what happened with Scarlett Johansson. Now, this is where things get really messy. Scarlett hasn't been shy about why her marriage to Ryan fell apart, and if you connect the dots, it's very telling. Let's rewind. They started dating in 2007, got engaged within a year, and by 2008, they were married. But just a couple of years later, it all crumbled fast. And here's where it gets interesting. Their marriage just so happened to fall apart right around the time Scarlett's career exploded with major Marvel roles like Iron Man 2 and The Avengers. Coincidence? She doesn't think so. Ever since their split, Scarlett has been dropping hints about what went down, and the two words that keep coming up: jealousy and insecurity. The plot thickens. Scarlett Johansson spills the tea on Ryan Reynolds' insecurities. At one point, Scarlett made it very clear she can't stand jealous behavior. She admitted that while the occasional check-in is fine, passive-aggressive jealousy is just a big red flag because it screams insecurity and controlling behavior, completely unattractive. I couldn't agree more. Now let's connect the dots. We already know Ryan loves being in control. He basically took over Deadpool and even drove the original director out. And it turns out he may have been the same way in his marriage. The pattern is crystal clear.
Many people forget is there was a time from 2008 to 2011 where Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds were married. They got divorced after Ryan Reynolds finished filming Green Lantern, where he met his second wife, Blake Lively, and many people have assumed he cheated on Scarlett Johansson with Blake Lively while filming. Before getting divorced, they both joined Marvel, with Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool in X-Men Origins 2009. A year later in 2010, Scarlett Johansson would join the MCU playing Black Widow in Iron Man 2. The characters of Deadpool and Black Widow are close, where in some of the comics the two actually have a relationship together.
Think about it. Scarlett was landing major Marvel deals while Ryan's career wasn't exactly taking off the same way. So it makes total sense why she believes her success played a big part in their split. She even admitted that relationships between two actors can be tricky, especially when both careers are growing at the same time. And if one becomes way more successful than the other, yeah, that can create some serious tension. She hinted that there was definitely a competitive vibe in her marriage, which made things even worse. Basically, Scarlett was out here securing blockbuster roles, and Ryan not handling it well. And she didn't stop there. She straight up called her experience with Ryan volatile and heavily implied that his insecurities ruined things. According to her, there will always be one person who's more successful in a marriage, but Ryan just couldn't handle being the less successful one. I'm absolutely stunned by these revelations. And here's where things really get interesting. Enter Blake Lively. Ryan met Blake while filming Green Lantern, and at that time, he was still married to Scarlett. But their chemistry, apparently undeniable. So undeniable that they reportedly had a hard time keeping things professional on set. The plot just keeps thickening.
We were just like fireworks coming across the...
Went well for him. There were no fireworks for me.
So while Ryan was already struggling with his marriage thanks to his ego and jealousy, he found it way too easy to latch onto Blake instead. And just like that, his marriage with Scarlett was done. At this point, it's kind of impossible to ignore how often the word insecure pops up when people talk about Ryan. And if the same thing keeps coming up over and over again, it's probably not just a coincidence, right? But wait, his personal life isn't the only place where Ryan's rubbed people the wrong way. His track record in Hollywood, not winning him any fans either. Why Hollywood directors want nothing to do with Ryan Reynolds? Filmmakers are straight up afraid to work with Ryan because he has a habit of taking over projects and making them his thing. And guess what? Quentin Tarantino wants nothing to do with him. Quentin didn't sugarcoat it. He basically said Ryan is just a high-paid actor with no real quality films under his belt. He even called out Netflix movies in general, saying they make millions but are completely forgettable. Translation? Ryan's entire film career isn't even worth remembering. Ouch. That's a serious burn.
Part of the marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who have become famous playing these
parts,
characters.
yeah.
But
they're not movie stars. Captain America is the star.
Right.
And let's be real, Quentin hates streaming services like Netflix, but Ryan, he's been all about them, starring in films like Six Underground, Red Notice, and The Atom Project. But if you think that's bad, just wait until you hear what Chris Columbus had to say. Ryan once tried to reboot Home Alone, but not just any reboot, a stoner version called Stoned Alone. Yeah, you heard that right. The plot? A guy who grows weed misses his flight, then a bunch of burglars break into his house. Chris Columbus, the original director of Home Alone, was furious. He thought the whole concept was straight up disrespectful and made it clear that Ryan should not mess with a classic. He even told him to just rewatch the original instead of ruining it. And honestly, he had a point. Home Alone is legendary, not some random Netflix movie. I'm completely appalled by this idea, but wait, Ryan's Hollywood drama doesn't stop there. Turns out other actors aren't exactly fans of his movies either. Gerard Butler, for example, had some serious shade to throw when someone compared his movie Gamer to Ryan's Free Guy, since both revolve around virtual reality. Gerard had no interest in the comparison. He didn't even pretend to know what Free Guy was. And when the interviewer mentioned it was one of Ryan's movies, Gerard shut it all the way down with, "I don't watch Ryan Reynolds films." Yikes, that's some next-level shade. The tea just keeps getting hotter. And honestly, with more and more people calling out Ryan's movies for being forgettable, it's starting to look like Hollywood's turning its back on him. Is Ryan Reynolds' Hollywood reputation falling apart? So it's not just Quentin Tarantino dismissing Ryan's movies. Chris Columbus finds his ideas straight up insulting, and Gerard Butler? Yeah, he made it very clear he's not a fan either. When this many people start throwing shade, you gotta wonder, is there something deeper going on? Is Ryan really as insecure as his exes have hinted, or is this just Hollywood politics at play? Either way, it's clear he's rubbing some big names the wrong way. And speaking of bad moves, let's talk about this cringy SNL moment. I'm still reeling from the awkwardness.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, SNL did its 50th anniversary tribute, and there was one moment that seemed to stand out. That was a moment where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler called out Ryan Reynolds in the audience, and it was a little awkward.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Joking about how you and your wife essentially tried to leverage by accusing him of is not amazing. It's not an amazing look. I think it's going to do serious career damage to Ryan Reynolds, and by the evidence, it probably should.
Ryan and Blake showed up at Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, and let's just say it did not go as planned. Instead of a fun, lighthearted moment, it felt like they were trying to manipulate the public and control the narrative right in the middle of their legal mess. Ryan even threw in a joke about his ongoing legal drama with Justin Baldoni, and Blake played along, but the timing? Way off. It was awkward, especially with everything going on around those claims. Fans weren't buying it either. A lot of people called the whole thing a PR stunt, a desperate attempt to seem likable while their perfect image starts crumbling. Even Justin's lawyer chimed in, questioning how anyone could joke about something that serious. At this point, it's starting to look like Ryan and Blake's carefully crafted image is falling apart, and their attempts to fix it? Yeah, not working. But what do you think? Were they always just fooling everyone? Did you see this coming before the rest of us? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and before you go, smash that like button and hit that subscribe so you don't miss any of the latest drama. I'm absolutely living for all your opinions on this. All your opinions on this. All your opinions.